All right, everyone, welcome back to the Sell That SaaS Podcast. I'm your host, Will Padilla. I am excited to talk to you guys today about all things sales in a different industry. I got a little quick story for you guys. The guest here, his name is Wulf Trigo.
Yes, sir.
And we met at George Janko's meetup.
But technically, we met at Arizona Entrepreneurs almost 2 years ago.
Thanks for correcting me. We met at Arizona Entrepreneurs about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Got to connect there. That was cool. We
Yeah.
did chat for a while. I think Wulf and I really got, you and I got to chat more at George's because I think that was more of a tailored event where you only show up if you follow George, if you're a fan of his and what his brand kind of stands for. And Wulf and I brought a couple of my buddies from church. Wulf was there with your founder Mitch, and your co-founder, and a couple of other. Was it just Mitch? You think you were also
Grant was there, yeah.
Grant's a cool guy. He's a good guy, yeah. So we, I saw him. I was like, oh, hey, what's up, bro? Like, it's, a while. And we were just like, hey, what's going on? We started talking about faith. We started talking about business. And I said, I'd love to have you on the podcast. So,
I'm honored to be here, man. I love this.
Yeah,
I love
dude.
podcasting. So I love talking, man. Like, people that know me, they'll know I don't shut up.
And like literally, I saw you've been on a lot of podcasts, so this is like a pretty common thing for you.
Yeah. I guess people just love to just like let me yap, and I'm just kidding. I think it just I connect very well with people, and I also love to just have that one-on-one with people. I think it makes it a lot more. For some reason, like podcast makes the awkwardness of like a coffee meeting.
Sure.
Because usually, if you want to get to know someone, you'll just go do coffee or whatever. And for some reason, there's that like little awkwardness, in the beginning. It's like, oh, so like, what do you do? Whatever.
100%.
That's why I like podcasts, because it's kind of just like walls down. Let's just talk.
We're just having a conversation.
That's it.
And then you get clips that you can make afterwards.
That's
so it's
right.
like you do one video and it's all on film, and then you say I get like 10 shorts out of that, and it's
100%.
It kind of pays for itself in terms of brand awareness. So
That's right.
But yeah, man, grateful to have you here. I think
Grateful to be here.
Yeah, bro. And so, we were talking about Spain too. Do you want to tell like the audience a little bit about like your history? Because it was funny because I was in Spain and in Madrid.
Dude, I saw that, yeah.
And I said like, dude, you're Spanish. We started talking about Spain and just how different it is from the U.S. So just like tell people like, who is Wulf? And I guess like, you immigrated here from Spain to the U.S. and then you started your own business. Would love to just hear about that experience.
Yeah, for sure. So when I moved from Spain, I was 16. It was like 2013 or so, and I came here with a dream. I wanted to pursue business because I saw my dad. He basically had a logistics business for 2 decades or more than that. It was just he had a very large logistics business that he would import it would import products and services from Europe all the way to the Middle East.
Okay.
So most people know this already, but I grew up with a platinum spoon, I should say. So I was basically a rich kid.
In Spain?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. I was, and for people that know Spanish politics and economy, it's very hard to be rich in Spain because taxes are through the roof.
Yes.
And the government is in your business. But my dad figured it out. I don't know how he did it, but he figured it out. So we live very. We were an affluent family. Nothing too flashy.
Sure.
We were just still affluent, and over the years, I just saw my dad. He was pretty absent, to be honest.
Always working.
Always working. Yeah, and he had an office at home. So he was always in the office. He would just come down for dinner, maybe sit a little bit on the couch, watch a movie or whatever, but then he'd be working until like late nights and
this is
mornings.
back in Spain.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was back in Spain. So I saw my dad always grinding and hustling and stuff, and I always admired him because I still had everything that I wanted. So I always kind of like looked at him and I was like, man, that's what a hardworking man is. That's what I need to do, And my mom had an opportunity to apply for our green cards when I was like 6. So we were already in the process of becoming green card holders in the U.S. when I was very young. And when it finally happened, I knew if I come to the United States, I have to follow my dad's footsteps and actually even do better than him. And then some things happened where, dad, mom separated. That's a story that I've told a couple times, but we're not here to talk about that,
Well, it's
right?
tough.
So, yeah. It was tough. It was very tough because I kind of lost the hero that I grew up with and the person that kind of taught me a lot of things. But, all that happened made me the man that I am today. And I'm very grateful in a way. It's kind of dark, because all the pain and suffering that we went through with that. Because, again, I can
imagine, dude.
I come from here, right? Like all the wealth and everything. And then fall down to absolute zero when we get to this country, like nothing. Like I'm legit, we're begging, we're begging for to our family members to just take us in, to just help us, for 5 years. We're basically on, as Gary Vee says it, on payroll, for our family to try to help us get up. And it was a rough 5 years. Yeah. So, needless to say.
I mean, yeah. That talk about a story though. Yeah. I mean, because when you said you had the platinum spoon, I perked up. I said, really, in Spain? Because you said it's difficult to be very wealthy in Spain. Because if you're not
an aristocrat in Spain or a politician, you got no money, bro.
It's crazy to me. Like just all of Europe. I mean, most of Europe, they take like half your paycheck. Yeah. And the wages are so low. And
dude, I was talking to a friend of mine who, funny enough, his dad was the son. His dad was the son of an Iranian ambassador.
Okay.
So he also came from a lot of wealth, a lot higher than us, But he was telling me too that his family, he was also just getting taxed to no end. And even as a normal employee, if you're making more than 60 euros a year, which is
like 60K euros?
Yeah, 60,000 euros a year,
right?
Which is nothing crazy. You still get taxed 40%.
That's crazy.
And it's not like here in the U.S. where you can write off stuff.
You can hide it so easily here.
Yeah.
Oh, I said over LLC, I bought that.
But over there, bro, forget about it.
No, it's kind of hard, huh?
Oh, my God. You can't do anything. That's why unemployment is so high. That's why inflation is also so high. That's why a lot of the people in Spain, they just go to other countries like Germany or Denmark to work.
Okay.
To send money back to their families.
Really?
Yeah, because it's the tax, there are certain countries in Europe that make sense tax-wise. For example, I heard.
What would one of those be? Because I heard UK is not business friendly. No. They take literally 50%.
Yeah, dude, and don't quote me on this because I might be wrong, but I heard Isle of Man is a great tax haven. And it's that's in Northern Ireland, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Italy, I think, has some favorable tax benefits. Switzerland, obviously. Liechtenstein. I think Germany, too, if I'm not mistaken. Monaco, obviously. Malta, Cyprus, I think. Anyways, there's a few countries that are really good tax-wise. That's why a lot of billionaires go there and a lot of millionaires go there. Like Montenegro, I think, is another one. So is Croatia, I think. Anyways, I don't know. I'm not the expert on this, but Nomad Capitalist, I think he's a YouTuber or something. He has a website too. He does a great job at listing all the countries and figuring out which one's the best. But Spain is not it.
Wow.
Yeah, Spain is not it.
I'll have to check that out. Nomad Capitalist.
Yeah, Nomad Capitalist. Yeah,
cool.
He's cool. He's cool.
All right. So tell me. So you get here. You mentioned it's really struggling. You've been here 5 years when you first got here, and it's seems like a fight to get anything.
100%, dude. Because I started, first couple of years while I was going through high school, I started, doing roofing, which I was getting paid $5 an hour. As my green card didn't process at the time, so I was technically overstaying my visa. So I was getting paid under the table, and while the other roofers are getting paid $18 an hour. Wow, then I had an accident where I split my head open, and because I had no insurance or nothing, and I was basically getting paid under the table. The guy basically put super glue on I have a scar, big ass scar right here. I don't want to mess my hair up right now.
Yeah.
I have a big scar right here. And he would just put super glue on it and
No way, dude.
True story. True story.
Did you go to the hospital
No.
after? Oh, you just left it.
Literally. Yeah. It was weird. And yeah, I still got paid $5 an hour, working 16-hour days and stuff. So I was
tough,
whatever.
Bro.
Very tough, very tough.
But you got cash, and so you're like, all right, I got some cash in my pocket. I'm feeling good.
Exactly. And again, keep in mind, dude, I was a son of a rich man. I was spoiled, right? So then I found out my mom and my grandma, my aunts, they all at least pulled some money together to buy me a car so I can go to high school and stuff, right?
Bro.
I blew it in a 66 Mustang.
Okay.
The first one that I saw with red interior. I blew it on that. Didn't take it to the mechanic. Didn't shop it. Didn't try to haggle. Nothing. I was like, no, I want it. It's my money. It's my money. I spent everything that my family saved up for me. I drove it for 5 days because the engine was blown.
Oh my!
So I needed to rebuild the whole engine, which cost $6,000.
Literally, like, what is the cost that it? What was it? $6,000 to buy it, and then the engine. They're like, it was.
So I sold it. I sold it to my best friend's dad, Dallin. Rest in peace, his father. He bought it from me for $2,200, and then I turned around and bought a 95 Toyota Camry. For $700. And that's what I should have done from the beginning. Because if I would have done that, I would have been able to have at least $5,500 in a savings that I could have just continued to save.
Yeah.
And that was the first lesson I learned about money.
Did that Toyota Camry purchase.
Yeah. That instant gratification that I was thinking about is like that. Don't get me wrong. Money is abundant, right? You should never be afraid of spending the money, but you shouldn't be stupid about it.
No.
I was an idiot.
Yeah. I mean, I have a similar story, but I didn't actually make the purchase. My dad did. Oh. My dad really liked this truck that he knew his friend had, and he was like, I want to buy it for my son, for me. And I was 16, or no, I was 18. I was 18. He buys me a truck, and I never had a car before. And I'm like, thanks, Dad. Like, this is awesome. And he's like, really hyped up on the truck, right? Like, super proud that he bought a truck. And I'm no wizard with mechanics, but I know sometimes when things are off. And so I'm driving and I'm like, dude, it smells like gasoline. And he's like, no, that's a truck. Like, like maybe he drove it around and he's like, kind of get that, like, real, like, I don't know. He's like, let's just get used to it, whatever. I said, okay, fine. And then I show him as I'm filling up gas for the first time, and literally the entire gas tank just started leaking out. Every time I'd pump the gas, it would just come right out the car. And I sent the video to my dad, and he's like, what did I do? And the guy's like, all sales are final. I'm not coming. You bought it. You didn't check it.
Oh my God, bro.
Your problem. And that's when I went into full sales mode, and I said, Dad, bro, like, I appreciate the gesture, but this is terrible. And he's like, wow, I feel like I just lost $6,000. It also was $6,000. Oh, wow. And I say, okay, well, I'm going to solve this. I went to Craigslist, and I posted a Craigslist truck, and I posted on Craigslist the truck, and I advertised it as $5,300. So I was like, maybe someone who knows mechanics. And I put in there like, hey, it has problems with the gas tank. It's going to need this, but it's overall a great truck. It only has 70,000 miles on it, which is pretty low for a truck.
Sure, yeah.
It was a Nissan Frontier. And my phone did not stop ringing.
Really?
Yes, off the hook, because trucks are still in demand. People want trucks. And I was also in Missouri, so people really wanted trucks in Missouri.
Yeah.
And dude, this guy came, and I was very candid with him. I said, hey, here's the issue. When I fill up the gas, it's literally leaking out. I went to the mechanic. He's telling me it's going to be a $2,000 fix, and then some. And just giving you a fair warning of why it's priced at $5,300, because typically these go for about $7,000. And I was waiting for him to hit me back with like lower it, that's not fair. Or, this is going to cost me a lot of money. And dude, he just looks at me and he's like, I have my own shop. I have my own mechanic shop. I was really excited when you posted the truck. $5,300 sounds awesome. Hands me the cash, boom. So I tell my dad, I'm like, great. We lost $700, but now a mistake, Dad, of when you get really excited about something and you think it's gonna be flashy, think it's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
There's sometimes consequences to that. So what did we do? I gave him the money back, and I just didn't have a car. I was like, I don't need a car right now. I can share one with my brother. Like, we're okay. And so I think it was good for him, even in his older age, to say, hey, like you said, right? Like, I want this, I want that. And then you get it and something happens and you're like, oh, I didn't do the due diligence to actually check it. And I didn't have a car until I was like 25, but that's another story. But dude, similar story though on like getting a car and then immediately breaking. Like it sucks.
Yeah. I know. My stories with cars, man. I don't want to say I'm unlucky with cars because I don't want to attract that. But it's almost like every car I've owned, I've always gotten in an accident with it.
Bro,
there's not a single car that I have that hasn't been in an accident.
Dog.
I'm not kidding you. In the past 4 years, I've been in 5 accidents.
How many of them were on you? Like, be real. Be real. Because, wow.
Yeah.
So, because that's the part where I'd say, all right, there's a clear common denominator.
I take responsibility. I don't want to say that I don't know how to drive. I'm just a very distracted driver. No, I'm just distracted.
Okay.
Because, and look, I'm not trying to incriminate myself, but I work while I drive.
Sure.
You know, I get phone calls. I have to reply to emails and stuff. And my day is like back to back to back, like all the time. So time is super precious for me.
Sure.
So I have to get things done like right there, like right now. And I think God is trying to tell me is like, yo, you got to slow down, buddy.
Really?
Because dude, 4 out of the 5 accidents are my fault. And this last accident that I just had, it was kind of like a questionable accident because even it was a red light. I was supposed to turn right. And even though I yielded, I didn't see the guy coming. He just like almost like T-boned me. Like I think he did like a U-turn, and that's why he hit me on the left side. So on the driver's side. So anyways, I'm in a position right now that it's like almost like it might be easier for me to just get a driver.
I mean, I think driving's super dangerous. I'm not a fan of driving everywhere. Like I would rather have someone drive me.
I love driving though.
Oh, I'd rather have someone drive me.
Yeah.
I just would rather just sit in the passenger seat, work all day. Because you said I would love to just work. Yeah. Because I feel like that's like precious time.
Yes.
That I could just be working, and I'm not at the point yet where I can justify a driver.
Yeah.
But I would like to. I mean, I'd like to. So that definitely is like.
That's how it is in Dubai most of the time. So I have a buddy of mine who lives there, and you can get a driver for the entire month for $1,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you been to Dubai?
No.
I feel like you give me like vibes that you would definitely crush it there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I get invited to Dubai all the time.
That's what I'm saying.
I just haven't had I guess I haven't had, because it's a very long flight.
Yeah, like what, 20 hours?
Yeah. I hate planes, bro. Like it's gonna sound very, very weird, but I don't want to say I'm terrified of planes, but it's like I imagine the worst every time I get on the plane. And with all the stuff that's happening right now, it's like I have a very catastrophic mind when it comes to stuff that I have no control. That's why I love driving, because it's like, look, if I get into an accident, it was my fault. You know, even if somebody else hit me, I could have stopped, I could have swerved, whatever. I always will be like, hey, I'll take responsibility of this. I'm not driving the plane. I'm not flying the plane.
Yeah, you feel a lot of control.
Yeah, it's like there's no control there. You know, I have to trust somebody else to fly. And yes, I get it. You know, that's what they train for, you know. But it's like, the takeoffs, the landings, it's like, oh, man, I don't know, dude. It's just like, it gives me goosebumps every time I think about it, because I'm like, man, it's just a one wrong move and you're just dead.
It's just out there. I feel you, bro. Like I think I've just had to get over it and kind of just numb myself out. Like whether it's like watching a movie or something that
I do that too.
Just keeps my mind off of it. I'm curious because you've been in AZ for like 10 years.
11.
You love it, right?
Yeah, 11 years, yeah.
Yeah, and I think I'd like to just hear from you of what makes Arizona so, why do you love Arizona so much? And then also from like a business perspective, how important is Arizona? Like just the people that are here to your business.
Dude, it's interesting because I've been to many other states. I've been to obviously California, Texas, and Florida. Specifically, like focusing on business first. Excuse me. I've been to all those 3 states aside from Arizona, and for some reason, there's just something that like Texas. For some reason, it feels too big. You know, like there's not. Like everything's so spread out. Like where do you go network, right? Because there's Houston, Austin, San Antonio, Dallas. Like there's so many different cities and everything's so far apart. You know, it's like, yes, you can definitely have a lot of connections, do a lot of business over there, but it's just like, for some reason, it just feels so spread out. Mm-hmm. California, I have my qualms with California. I'm not really going to get into it, but.
I mean, you can a little bit.
I don't like the state.
Yeah.
I don't like the people. I feel like there's a lot of just incongruences. The state itself, I don't know. I feel like it's washed down a lot. There's a lot of stuff that's being pushed that I don't really agree with. And I just don't like California.
Yeah.
You know, especially the taxes wise too.
That's
economically,
fair.
it's
You're not alone. A lot of people, a lot of business owners would not see themselves there.
And a lot of the people that I connect with in California are usually moving to where? Arizona, Texas, and Florida.
Bro, we're getting all the Californians here.
I know.
And they're raising the prices. Because like, I was talking to a friend in California, and he's looking at homes here, and the first thing he said was the homes near Troon, which are really nice. Troon North, like golf club, like up in North Scottsdale, very nice homes. First thing he said is, it's so cheap here. And I'm thinking to myself, I thought to myself, I was like,
that's expensive.
Each of those homes are like $1 million.
Yeah.
And he's thinking it's cheap because he's in San Diego.
Yeah, bro. San Diego is disgusting, bro.
It's crazy.
And San Diego, like, let's be honest, dude. It's a homeless pit.
There's a lot of homeless everywhere.
And for some reason, the price is still disgusting.
I don't know. I don't get that though.
I don't either.
To me, I don't understand how the home prices are so high.
You will never understand it.
Yeah.
So I don't even try.
Yeah, I'm not even in that
That's
realm.
why, again, California, out the picture for me.
Yeah, sure. So Texas also, too big, California out of the picture.
When it comes to like lending too, California is so weird when it comes to that. Like, you have to have a different license and different registration to be able to lend in California. So I don't even try to touch California either. Texas is too spread out. I love Texas. Don't get me wrong. I have a whole team out in Texas, and I got a lot of clients in Texas. But it's like I wish there was a way to like be more centralized, because Texas is bigger than Spain, bro.
That's wild.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like so spread out. And then Florida, there's so many like $30,000 millionaires.
Really?
And a lot of scammers too.
Miami.
Yes. I haven't been to Orlando, and I've been to Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale is like, for example, our partner Osvaldo in Wealth USA with Julian and all of them. They're all in Fort Lauderdale. And Patrick Bet-David is also in Fort Lauderdale. So there's a lot of great people in Fort Lauderdale, and I love Fort Lauderdale.
Me too.
But it's like old people. For the most part, either old people or people that have already made it. So it's like trying to tap into that market. It's like so hard, because it's almost like you have to be part of their club. You know, that's why for me the only places that I would consider in Florida would be Miami, Orlando, or Tampa.
Sure.
You know, I haven't been to Orlando or Tampa, even though we have a project that we're financing in Orlando, and I closed the deal with a business broker in Tampa. But as far as like Miami goes, I have a lot of connections there. But it's just like, for some reason, I haven't been able to like really make anything happen. It's like it's a city that's hard to really break out of, because there's a lot of people that are not legit. There's a lot of people that like flex a lot, and they don't have it. And it's just like their attitude is a little like yucky.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? It's like they always have that ego. They always have to have like the sports car. They always have to have the watches. They always have to have that
exhausts me,
dude. It's like relax.
But that's
brother.
how LA is,
dude. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like
downtown
relax.
LA is like the same.
I don't have to
Miami.
drive a nice car for you to do business with me, bro. Like, check out, like, look at what I actually do.
Yeah.
Look at my business statements. Like, look at my business. Don't look at my car, bro.
But like, don't you notice that when you do drive a nice car, you do get better treatment?
No, you're right, dude.
It's
there's
so
this
messed
guy,
up.
What's his name? There's this guy on Instagram that talks about like the supercar effect is real. Like, if you buy a supercar, like, you'll make more money. Like, I get it, but it's like, look, would I love to have a supercar? Absolutely, dude. Would it close me more deals? For sure.
For sure.
But it's like the type of people that I would deal with sometimes. I'm not saying all supercar owners are bad people, right? But it's like the type of people that I would attract. Sometimes it would be like very preppy, very arrogant, very just like difficult to work with, you know?
Yeah.
And again, not saying that every supercar guy is like that, but for the most part, the people in those cities like Miami and, LA and stuff, they don't have God. They worship themselves. They worship materialistic stuff. And again, I am not saying we shouldn't have materialistic stuff. Like, I'm getting a Porsche GT3 RS.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be in Monaco and Italy. I'm going to be enjoying fancy dinners and really nice hotels and, all that stuff. However, I like to have a much better relationship with someone where it's not like, you don't drive a GT, but you don't drive an AMG. Like, I can't do. No, I don't want that.
No.
It's so superficial. It's so like base level. It's like, what's behind that? You know, can we actually get along? Because I would rather have a good relationship, business relationship, even with someone that I can be like, yo, dude, we're going to go to Italy next month. Do you want to hop in with us? Like, just pop on the plane with us and just, you know what I'm saying? That is what's fun.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
To me.
No, I'm 100% with you, bro. Like first of all, I didn't have a car till I was like 25. And then when I moved to Scottsdale, I only had a bike. And people were like, "Oh, is it hard to like?"
Yeah, people probably judge you a lot.
Well, people were like, "Oh, you broke? Like you don't have this." But then what's crazy is I had so much swag where I was just like, "Nah, I'm saving up for a car. I'm trying to buy it cash. This bike's great. You know, I live in Old Town. I walk everywhere." And dude, when you just say like things with that confidence, people are like, "Oh, that is cool." Like it like switches their mind. And then I mean,
dude, bro, last year. Listen, last year when I had my big pop off, we did a $20 million loan for a cannabis company.
Really?
Yeah.
Here in Arizona?
Yeah. I made a lot of money.
Dang.
I made a lot of money, right? So craziest thing, bro, I bought a 65 Mustang.
All right.
Okay. For $12,000 cash. So I own that cash.
Yeah.
And it's in the shop right now. I'm resto modding it. But the craziest thing is like, for the longest time, I was driving a Fiat 500.
Bro,
a Fiat 500. I look like Mr. Incredible when he's like driving in that
you're
car.
A big dude,
you know
bro.
what I'm saying? So every time I would pull up somewhere, like they would look at me, it's like, that's not yours. It's like, I'm renting it right now. It's like, I just don't want to buy a car because, you know, my driving record is horrible. So I can't afford, like I wouldn't be able to afford the insurance, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because my insurance at the time, dude, it was like probably like $1,000 a month or something.
Bro, no way, dude.
Yeah, it would be
at that point.
That's what I'm saying.
At that point, I'd say, give me the bike back right now.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. It's like I can't afford that shit. Like it's like even if I could pay $1,000, why?
Bro,
I can just rent the car for that much.
I would rent.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was renting. I was renting cars for $1,000 a month. Nothing crazy, dude. It's like, bro, literally Fiat 500. I was doing like a Hyundai. I was doing like nothing, bro.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of the cars that I was managing through my Turo business. So again, a lot of people didn't know this.
Oh, you had Turo too?
Yeah, I used to. You know, so again, people thought that those were my cars, that I couldn't afford a better car. No, I was like, dude, like these cars are in my fleet.
Right.
Like I manage these.
But that sounds cool though.
Money.
Like when you say that though, it almost comes to the point of authority of like, I'm confident enough to drive this car around. And by the way, I'm also a business owner and this is part of my business.
Yes.
So
many people are so afraid to look like losers in front of losers.
Isn't that crazy? That right there is a statement, man, because I think so many Americans in general, they just get so caught up in, I have to show this because this person's going to give me the reaction. Bro, the person who's going to give you the weird little like, oh my gosh, it's such a cool thing. They're broke, right?
Yes.
The people who are really wealthy are like, nice car.
Bro, if I can say something, dude, Anthony Williams, really good friend of mine.
Really?
Yeah, dude. He is loaded. I don't want to put his business out there, but he is very well off.
Sure.
Like this dude takes private jets like it's Ubers, right? But dude, you're so correct because when I first met Anthony Williams, I was driving a Honda Civic, and he was like, dude, he's like, I love that about you. He's like, you're driving a Honda Civic. I've had all the cars, and I wish like I wouldn't have jumped the gun with all the fancy cars. And I love the fact that you drive a Civic. And again, this Citizen watch, $800.
Yeah.
When I went to his wedding, you know, obviously like Anthony has like a really nice watch collection, you know, and they were obviously just talking about it, like him and Q, and like all they're all like super well off, you know. So they're just like talking and like doing the picture, and I kind of just like sneak in, you know, and as a joke. And then Anthony just kind of like treated me like, yeah, dude, just get in, even though my watch is like literally a 1,000th of the price of theirs.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just like Anthony gets it.
Yeah.
This guy gets it. It's like, dude, the flashy stuff, it's just not, it's not worth anything, dude. Like Anthony treated me with so much respect without knowing or without judging.
Sure.
Where I was at.
Yeah.
Because why? It's because, again, it's just like the people that got the money, they don't have to.
Yeah. And they're very weary of who they spend their time with, and he probably got the energy from you that you didn't really want anything from him.
No,
you just wanted to hang out.
Bro, that's exactly right. It's like a lot of people that are friends with Anthony and all these guys that are just like very wealthy, they're just trying to get stuff out of
Bro,
it.
they're leeches.
Yes. Dude, I told Anthony from the beginning, man, it's like, look, bro, I'm trying to, like, the only way that I want to make sure that we have a good friendship is because I want to be able to provide for you. I want to be able to serve you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to get anything out of you. I'm not trying to get anything like handed out. Like, if you're going to give me something or if you're going to put me on, it's because I want to earn it.
That leads me to a question for you. Is like, how, like, for the audience who's listening, like, how would you recommend they get around these type of people from your perspective?
Dude, it's, man, I wish I had a more direct answer. But I think for me, it's, okay, this is hard. It's hard for people. Because a lot of the times when people think about, it's like, oh man, I gotta rub shoulders with rich people, right? They can smell that. Mm-hmm. It's like, I call it commission breath. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, how I met Anthony, which it's insane because I never like really try to go for the kill. I was like, yo, like you gotta do infinite banking with me, bro. Like no, like, let's get you set up. It's like, no, bro, we were at a wedding of a friend of mine from high school.
Okay.
And he happened to be there because he happens to be, he's married now, but he happened to at the time date one of the bridesmaids who I also went to high school with.
Wow.
So, but again, because in high school I was not a jock. I was not a jerk or anything. I was kind to everybody, including this girl too. She had nothing but good things to say about me to her man. Mm-hmm. And then I'm in the line in a custom made suit, like the first suit that I ever bought custom, right? When I made a little bit of money, I was like, you know what? The one thing that I want to spend money on is my clothing.
Boom.
Right? If I can look good, I don't need to look broke, right? Like, nope. I'll invest a little bit more time in my image. Like, you know, for example, one thing I can improve on is like I can go to the barbershop a lot more often. But anyways, if I can improve in my physique, in the way I look, that's at least something that I can carry with me everywhere.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Because I can't carry a Lambo inside of a room.
Nope.
Right? So anyways, so I'm in line with just trying to get some food at the wedding. And then Anthony's right behind me and he's like, hey, nice suit. You know, and he's like, hey, you're Wulf, right? And I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Just nice to meet you. Like, I don't think I know you. Like, it's like, oh, no, yeah, Megan's my girlfriend. Like, I know you went to high school with her, and she just said a lot of great things about you. She's like, oh, my God, dude, you're Anthony, dude. Like, yeah, she said a lot of great things about you as well, which is true. And then that's when it clicked for me because he looked a little bit different than when the first time I saw him through Instagram, through her girlfriend's Instagram. So I was like, dude, it's like, how you doing? Like, I literally started becoming a lot more just interested in what he's doing because, dude, I saw from the beginning when I was back in high school when they were trying to get their business started, and I've always been interested and curious. Like, dude, like, did it actually work? You know? And then, dude, come to find out, his businesses took off, and I was like, actually genuinely happy for him about that. I was like, dude, that's freaking awesome. Mm-hmm. It's like, because I remember Megan talking about this, and I remember this, and that. It's like everybody talking about this and kind of like putting you down because you're doing Forex and stuff. And now you're like one of the biggest names in that space. You have like hedge funds and all that kind of stuff. I was like, dude, that's absolutely phenomenal, man. And the craziest thing happened is like, because I was actually genuinely interested in him, he asked about me. And you know what I did, bro? Because I didn't want, and this is where most people make mistake. I kind of downplayed it because I didn't want to get into it. I didn't want to pitch him. I was like, you know, I do infinite banking and finance and stuff, and we can get into that other stuff later. Maybe we should connect, man. I would love to learn a little bit more about you.
Smooth.
And that's it.
Smooth.
You know, but a lot of people say, oh, well, you know, I sell real estate and I do this, and like, are you looking for Bro, they go into pitch mode.
Whoa.
You know, all
so
I did,
true.
I was like, I just downplayed. Like, I mean, you know, I just do infinite banking. You know, what we specialize in is like save people on taxes, accumulate it. It's like, anyways, we can get into it on a different time. You know, we should probably connect. I'd love to learn a little bit more about you. You know, all I did is I kind of just gave him a couple nuggets of what I do, which is the truth. It's like save people money on taxes, accumulate it tax-free, and then leverage that same dollar twice. And then I was like,
It's all factual.
Yeah.
You're just saying, hey, this is what I do.
Hey, that's what I do. I don't tell them like, oh, I'm a real estate agent. I'm a life insurance agent. I don't do that. Like people just usually get turned off.
Bro, I get so turned off. They're like, hey, by the way, like, are you looking to buy right now? Like, tell me about what do you do for work? I'm like, bro, why do we have to go down that route?
I hate it, bro.
I love to hear that you're a real estate agent. I love to hear you're selling awesome houses. I just want to hear how good you're doing or how you're doing in general.
That's it. It's like, why do you have to look at me as just like a client? You know, like, can we at least be friends first?
Yeah.
You know, that's what it's funny because I turn my clients into friends first. Because in my mind, everybody that I meet with, they will eventually be my client. But you know how they won't be my client? If they can't be my friend. If they can't trust me as a friend, if they can't see that I actually genuinely care about them, they will never be my client. And if they are, they won't last for too long because they'll feel like I closed them on it. And I don't want to close anybody. And that's kind of how I work with Anthony, dude. It's like I was actually dude, he was freaking cool, man. Like he was this guy that showed up at a wedding with like neck tats, you know, finger tats, had a man bun and stuff. I was like, yo, dude, like you look great, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do? You know? And
that also goes to your point though of appearance. That's something you should invest in.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Like if I were
because
to,
he was rocking the suit really nice.
Because it's just something that you're being genuine of like, dude, you look like dope fit, bro.
Yes.
Like you look, maybe he's jacked, tan, whatever. He's got tats, cool tats.
But it's like he rocked it very well, you know?
Dude.
And so I was like, it's like, dude, I'm interested in like more about you. Cause again, and I told him, it's like, yeah, I heard about you back in high school. You know? It's like, I'm interested in knowing your story, bro. It's like, you obviously got it made up. And to be honest, I just want to be your friend. And then he literally told me himself, I was like, no, I want to be your client.
Boom.
You know? And I was like, yeah, we can get into it. We'll connect. But like, I want to be your friend. And to this day, dude, I still like, I called him for his birthday.
So true, bro.
I called him for his birthday. First ring he picked up. You know why? Because I remembered it was his birthday. Because I actually care about him. Because I consider him a friend. And in no shape or form, I ever tried to just like, yo, bro, like, let's sit down and like, let's actually like, you know? It's like, I mentioned it here and there whenever he was interested about it. And when he's just like, we're focusing on a different project, I don't push him, bro. Because like people like that, whenever their time comes, like they'll do it.
Yeah.
You know, they'll become the client. You have to nurture those relationships and you actually have to care. You have to care about that person because at the end of the day, it's like, how are you going to maintain that relationship if you just go make your money and then you're gone, dude? It's like, for me, and I told Anthony too, because I connected him with a private equity firm too, because he was also looking to make some investments and stuff. And I was like, dude, look, to be honest, man, my goal is like, how can I make you either $10 million or how can I make you have a easier lifestyle? How can I make you keep more of the money that you already have? You know, how can I solve a problem for you? Like that was my whole approach about it. It's like, I'm not trying to take from you. I'm trying to figure out a way that, because what do you give a man that has everything? You know what I'm saying?
It's tough to figure it out.
It's tough to figure out, right? But for me, I was like, it's like if I treat this guy like he's genuinely my family, you know, it's like it's somebody that I want to get close to. What can I give this guy? A guy that literally has everything.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I had to figure out. It's like, you know what he probably doesn't have? He probably doesn't have a lot of people that are genuinely interested in him, that are not trying to get a check out of him, that are not trying to have him invest into one of their ideas or anything like that. You know, it's just like, how can it be genuinely a friend that has no intentions behind it? And that's what I do. 2 months after meeting him, he invites me to his wedding, bro. How crazy is that?
Yeah, everything you're saying, I think, is good for the audience.
I love you, Anthony.
Shout out, Anthony. I don't know you, but maybe I'll meet you one day. Everything you're saying is good for the audience because, dude, there's a lot of people that message me who just don't have proximity to these individuals. But I think, as you said, a lot of them go about it wrong where they say, I have to go to this networking event to specifically network, to specifically rub shoulders with X, Y, and Z. Yeah. And some of that to degree can be true, but I think Alex Hormozi always says this. I love this. And Alex Hormozi, I take bits and pieces of what he says.
Same.
Yeah, not everything, but he's like, well, a lot of people focus on they have to always go to networking events, but then they forget about actually up-leveling their own skills and actually investing in themselves because that's more valuable. He's like, invest in yourself, figure out your skills, do good at the job that you're good at. So like, for example, for you, it's like infinite banking. Are you actually making clients, or are you just always at networking events, right? It's like you actually have to do the first thing to actually be successful when you get to a networking event. But then when you meet these high-level individuals like you did, it didn't start with you seeking out a high-level individual. You were just being friendly. You were being personable. You were being social. You were just understanding who this person is on a genuine level, and everyone's favorite topic is themselves.
100%.
So, but you didn't have anything. You weren't trying to get anything out of it, and I feel like that is the thing that I would just tell everyone who's listening is, but also, to your point though, you wouldn't have got invited to that wedding if you weren't cool to certain someone, or they didn't think that you were.
That's why, bro.
So you have to be out. You can't just sit in your room all day and grind. Like, what do you say to those guys? Like, only hustle, like work,
or like disappear for like 6 months.
Bro, I don't
okay,
understand
great.
that.
I thought about it, right? It's like, okay, how can I disappear and sell stuff?
It's just, to me,
how can I disappear and get clients?
You have to be out, like what we're doing.
You can't. You know, that's exactly right. It's like you have to be out there, right?
Yeah.
To me, the way I looked at it is like, it's like I genuinely like, because look, if you're a good friend with someone, what happens? They usually invite you to stuff.
Yeah, they want you there.
You know what I'm saying? I want to approach everything like people want me there. That's it. That's how I approach it. And the craziest thing is like when I go to all these networking events, or when I go to these, gatherings or whatever, I really do my best to highlight them for something, or try to think when they're telling me about themselves. I tell this to my guys too. Whenever they go networking, don't talk about yourself. Like, don't.
Good call.
Like, literally, networking tip, right? I go in pairs. And basically, first guy that's really good at breaking the ice or whatever, talks a little bit. And he's like, hey, you got to meet this guy. Or you got to meet my partner, whatever. Here. Goes and gets me. For example, I walk in. My friend is just like, sitting there, just like waiting for like 30 seconds. He says, I'll be right back. And he goes to the next pod. And then here I am. I don't know this guy, right? Why would I talk about me when I can now ask about him? And then I'm really good at asking certain questions. And then guess what? I only talk for about 5 minutes. And then my buddy says, hey, you got to meet this guy. It's like, okay, look, I would love to talk to you for the rest of the night because it sounds like you have something very interesting going on. What's a good way to connect with you? Let's do this again next week. And then I pull out my phone and I grab their phone number, or they give me the business card or whatever. And then I go somewhere else. And the thing is, I've asked so much about them that they feel rude for not asking about me.
Of course.
So now when I connect with them the next day, they're like, it's so much easier conversation. It's like, yeah, like they remember. It's kind of like dating, right?
Yeah, it is.
When you take a girl out and you talk about yourself, what happens? Worst date ever for the girl.
Worst date ever, bro.
But when you ask the questions and all you do is quiet, it's like, oh my God, you're such a good listener. You know what I'm saying? Dude. So that's the thing. That's the networking tip.
The dating and the sales
is very similar, bro.
Look, maintaining a relationship, a boyfriend, girlfriend, in our case, a girlfriend is different than maintaining a client relationship.
Yeah,
but I would say
a lot easier.
100%. Yeah, it's two guys who were both not married, so
yeah.
It's definitely difficult when it comes to dating, though, specifically, like actually finding the right one. Finding the right partner in business, it is somewhat similar of like how to actually ace like a first date or how to ace a first introduction to a business connection. A lot of it is about them. You just make it about them.
Dude, and I'm telling you, man, when it comes to, it's not only just like with the dating. I tell people, I treat dating the same way that I would treat business. I treat business the same way I would treat dating.
Me too.
And that's why I have a successful business, and I'm not trying to be arrogant about it, but I have really good clientele that are very solid, that they're not going to go anywhere because I treat them. I still stay in touch with them, and I treat them. That's why I created that school community as well, too, because I wanted to be able to have a hub for them to be able to be in. And the thing is again, when I go on networking events, I make it about them. I ask about them. And then when I connect with them and I take them out to lunch, I take them out for coffee, they come to the office, it's such an easier conversation to transition.
Yep. You have to, and then at a certain point you say, all right, but the thing is, they almost open themselves up to almost wanting to be pitched
They
by
always
you.
ask.
You know what I mean?
They always ask. I've never had to like force myself onto anybody because I've asked so much about them that they're like, dude, can you tell me about you, bro? Like, please. Like, I talk so much about myself. Like, I don't even know what you do anymore. Like, how can I help you? They literally say that. They literally say that, bro.
That's the crazy part is they'll almost, by what you're doing, and I do the same thing, you just make it about them. And then like they're like, well, wait a minute, I want to know about you.
Yeah.
And then you tell them a little bit, and then usually the next thing they say is like, okay, well, like, how can I learn more about that? Like, well, we could schedule actually a call to go over this specifically if you want.
That's exactly what I do. It's like, hey, like at 30 feet glance, I do infinite banking, 8% tax-free leverage, whatever, but we'll get to that later at a different time.
Sure.
That's kind of how I approach it, and then I make it back about them, and ask more about them. But the thing is like, when I do this, I genuinely ask about them because I have such a big network that I might be able to connect them with someone. So I'm asking questions because like, who can I connect this person with? Can I get them a client? Can I get them something that they need first before I ask for the business? This is what Gary Vee said, jab, 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 right hook, right? Give, ask. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I was just listening just in terms of the tactical things you're sharing with the audience is like, just always be asking and learning about the individual you're talking with first. And by doing that, you're actually then becoming interesting because you're actually genuinely listening. Like you said it, you'll talk to someone for a while and they'll just tell you everything. Now there's a difference though when you're active listening, right?
Yes.
Like what would you say that, okay, so let's just say someone's constantly asking you questions versus someone who's active listening. Like how can you tell the difference?
Well, because they stick to the same topic, and they dive a little bit deeper to that. Instead of just like, for example, if I'm asking you about what you're doing, and then you tell me that, oh, you do like real estate, like active listening, for example, for me, it'd be like, okay, like what type of real estate are you doing? And like, tell me a little bit more about that. What are you currently looking for in the real estate space? Oh, well, like right now I'm kind of like working in the commercial space and stuff. It's like, oh, that's interesting. I actually work with a lot of different commercial agents. Tell me a little bit more about that. Like what type of deals are you looking for right now? Do you have anything that's about to close? Like just so I can have an idea. Like that to me is active listening because now I'm actually like trying to find out. I'm like,
right,
digging a little bit deeper into that because it's like, okay, there's something that they're interested in. How can I also be interested in it as well?
But what you also did was you also gave yourself some credibility of saying, I know people in the commercial lending space or the commercial real estate space. I'm trying to also make a connection here.
Yeah.
So you're really active listening, where
Yes.
I feel like the inverse of that would be someone who just keeps asking questions without adding something. Like, for example, like let's just say we're going on to Florida, right? And I was like, oh, well, what are you doing in Florida? Okay, well, what do you like most about Florida? Who are you going to see, right? Rather than saying like, if I ask you the first question, what are you doing in Florida? You're like, oh, I'm visiting family. I'll be like, great, yeah, like it's interesting. I have a cousin down there, and they mentioned that there's this really good restaurant down there. I don't know if you guys are into seafood.
Bro, that's the best type of conversation because it's like, again, you said it, right? Sometimes people ask a question that you've answered on your previous answer.
Dude, and it's so like those kids who are just kind of always question masters. You can ask the question, but you can also add some value because I want to also have a conversation with you at a networking event. I don't, truthfully, I don't love it when it's all about me all the time, unless but then like in the situations like you where you get on stage, then it's about you. You're there to command a room and to lead. By the way, how do you get on stage like that, bro? Like that's pretty sick. I'm not going to lie. Like, do you have conferences you hold?
Sometimes I do. And I wouldn't call it conferences, to be honest. Like I had one major conference that I had 2 years ago and I had like, 150, 200 people show up.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah, but most of the time I'm a panelist at a couple like smaller events, or I just do like workshops, But yeah, dude, my goal is like, I want to break down that wall of the intimidation, dude. It's like, I already look intimidating enough because I look like Jake Paul's brother. And I'm big.
But I heard someone say in the reel, you said that, and they said, "Nah, bro, you're better looking, bro."
That was
like,
George Janko.
Yeah, I agree with that though. Like,
well,
dude,
I appreciate that.
Jake Paul, bro. Like,
I get it. Yeah, you're right. But I do get that a lot. You know, people's like, "Oh, like, that's Jake Paul." I was like, "Oh, whatever." People just get in, like, they think I'm intimidating because I look scary or whatever. And even though I don't think I look scary, I'm just big. I'm just tall and big.
You lift weights, bro.
Yeah.
So
I'm just tall and big.
It's gonna show.
I'm a very nice guy. You know, I'm always trying to make everybody my friend. I'm not trying to scare anybody. You know, so that's why I'm trying to make people like seen and heard, especially when it comes to like these conventions and these like conferences, workshops and stuff. I make it my duty to go say hi to everybody. And literally my first conference, I had like 150 people. Like, as people were rolling in and I couldn't recognize them, I didn't know who they were, I literally walked up to them, every single one of them, and I thanked them for being there.
Wow.
Every single one.
George did that with us too.
I know. Exactly. And what can you tell about him?
So that
he's genuine.
He's
bro.
genuine. Like, he actually felt like he genuinely cared about you.
Yes.
And that's how you win a room. Like, wherever he goes, I want to be like, well, I want to go to George's next event because he actually treated me well and he made time for me and he shook my hand when he didn't have to.
Correct.
And same thing with you when you're at these conferences. When they go, they don't expect, a typical person shouldn't expect that you're going to make specifically time for each and every one of them.
100%.
Right? But when you do, it adds that extra level of anything Wulf does now. Like, let's say they have an email list where you say, hey, I'm doing this other event. They're going to be like, he actually cared about me the first time. Maybe the second time, if he's like anything the first time, we're actually going to have even more of a deep conversation. We can build on that first. Yeah. So that's a sweet move, dude.
Thank you, brother.
I think for in-person conferences, networking, we have never done really an episode on this. And you have a lot of experience. I didn't even know we were going to get into this topic.
Yeah, I mean, neither, to be honest. Yeah, we said we're going to talk about all this stuff.
We said, like, I was like, we're going to talk about faith, being a man in today's world, like Christianity, which is great, right? But sometimes you don't have to even talk about faith for people actually to see it through you. And they know what we post and they know who we are. So it's like, sometimes the conversation.
If it's not clear, Jesus is the way, man. Lord. Yeah. He's my Lord. You know?
Jesus is king. Like,
Jesus is king,
if that's
man.
Controversial, then I don't know what to tell you.
It is.
I don't know what to tell you, but it's like if you're, I don't know.
Christ is king, man.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. And so, I mean, the networking thing's huge. We're coming up on time, so I wanted to just ask you like a couple things for your own business in terms of like. So you're really good at in-person selling. It sounds like you're always trying to go in person with these people, connect, make a connection, be friends with them, and then actually make the deal when you're not trying to make it about the deal, but you're just focusing on the person first.
Yes.
So it sounds like you're a very empathetic seller.
Yes.
Which is a huge trait of like top dogs, big time CEOs.
Thank you.
They actually understand their clients on like wait a minute, this person's not happy. I need to fix this.
Yeah.
How can I fix this?
Bro, yes.
That's a huge thing. Do you have employees?
I don't consider them employees, like, cause they're 1099. So I don't have anybody on payroll. It's just more like I call them like business partners, even though I own the company and they're like technically they're getting paid from my company, but I treat everybody like they're partners. So I just have independent contractors.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's still tough to, have different payments go out and you're running your own shop as an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
so
trust me, and I take all the losses too.
It's tough, dude. And so I think for a lot of people who are listening who are saying, okay, I want to get into these in-person events, do you sell like remotely or?
Yeah, I do a lot of Zoom, like a lot of remote sales as well.
Okay.
It just takes a little bit more time.
Yeah.
That's all. Because it's all about creating that trust, building that trust with a client.
Yeah.
Because I really want them to trust me. Because my average client sales life, or what's a life cycle, whatever, like the
LTV, lifetime value,
right? Is like 15, 30 years.
Typically, my listeners are very curious, and the other past guests we've had on have said, "Hey, your listeners message me on LinkedIn. Your listeners message me on IG. It's really great, that we got to."
No, that's awesome. Look,
so
I'm here to educate, brother.
Yeah, how can people like connect with you? Where's the best way?
Yeah, the best way to connect with me, to be honest, I mean, you can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook, YouTube, whatever. But the best way to connect with me is through Instagram. Instagram is like my business page. Yeah, it's Wulf Trigo. It's WULF. TRIGO. It's the best way to get in touch with me. I reply to all DMs. And we have a school platform now that everything I'm talking about, we're teaching everything on that school platform. And it's free until the end of August. And then it's going to be $9 a month unless you're a client. And then you get a free access as well for life. So again, I'm just trying to make it available to everybody. And again, look, it's a no-brainer once you understand how the process works to become a client. Because once you understand what you want and you understand that we have the blueprint, at that point, all you have to do is just take the action. That's it.
Nice. Well, and they can get more information from you, and they can have a conversation, and maybe they feel like it's something they want to do. Maybe it's not, but regardless,
that's fine. I'm not gonna hard close anybody.
Regardless, though, you'll leave as friends, and they'll say he treated me with respect and kindness, and he pointed me in the right direction. So
that's correct.
You can expect that with Wulf. I will definitely put my stamp of approval.
Thank you.
If you guys want to talk to him, regardless of what happens, you guys are gonna leave as friends.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Well, awesome episode, dude. Recap, just awesome networking tips you gave, selling with empathy to your clients, having a long-standing relationship with a client. It's hard to do, but it's easy to do when you make it about them is really what I heard from you. And so I appreciate you sharing everything that you're doing, and hopefully we can get you some leads. And even for myself, as I kind of go down this path of, being in tech sales and earning more, and maybe we talk about, hey, down the road, is there an opportunity for me to buy a business off of you, right? Like that's something my mentor even suggested I do a couple of years ago. Yeah. So that's
we'll talk, man. Yeah. Like I'm sure again, this is not the last time we're gonna get together, So we'll figure it out where we can work together. Like I want to be able to provide the value to everybody that needs it, because I can. My reach is pretty vast, so anything that you need, I can usually probably bring it to the table for you. So.
I appreciate that, dude.
Of course.
Well, cool, guys. Make sure you guys hit up Wulf if you want to connect with him. And if you haven't already, follow the Spotify podcast, because there's a lot of listeners, but there's not a lot of followers. So it just means people are going to our page, listening, and not hitting the follow. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting the follow button, that'd be awesome. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.